This is a place for planting, for digging, for harvesting, for relaxing. It's a place to get your hands dirty, but most of all, it's about having fun. And that's what you'll always have when you're in the garden with Doug Oster. You want a green thumb too, don't you? In spring, a young man's fancy turns to love, but this old man's fancy turns to gardening. I can't wait. Follow me. Oh yeah, it is officially spring, and that is so exciting. This morning we were dodging snowflakes, tomorrow 60, then 70, and probably snowflakes again after that. That's what spring is, and today we are planting some seeds to cool weather crops, and as I said, I can't wait. Well, the first thing is the soil's too wet to work. This bed does look nice. I've been putting compost on here for I don't know how many years, but the easiest thing to do when it has been so cold and we've had some rain is just to throw a $5 bag of compost onto it. And I got 3 bags here, and we'll put it on top, and then we can plant right in that. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know the drill. If the soil sticks to the shovel when you're turning it over, it's too wet. Smooth it out a bit. Well, believe it or not, the first thing we're going to plant is dandelions. I love dandelions, and this cultivated variety grows big and tender, and you might think I'm crazy, but don't worry about it. They're not going to flower or go to seed, and there's a lot of seeds in here, and we're just going to toss them about. We'll thin them out when they get up, but it is so thrilling to get started, to get our hands dirty. We'll leave a little bit for another sowing. Next is a little bit of lettuce. These are crops that don't care about frost. In fact, they thrive in cold weather. This is a lettuce called Navara, and I've read about it. Got some seed packets from Park Seed, and I get seed packets from all over, whatever I can find. These were like 10 for $1 last year, actually. Okay, all these are going to go in. And let's see what else we can find here that can finish off that bed. And this is something called corn salad, which just loves cold weather. This is one of those things that could actually winter over. We'll do another crop of these later in the season, and then again in the fall for sure. Can't wait to see them sprout. Well, that's probably enough for that bed. Dandelions are one of the most nutritious plants on the planet. That's one of the reasons I grow them. But they're also great in salads and sauteed. They're traditionally served with bacon, so you get the best of both worlds. All right, we're going to plant some seeds inside next. I'm going to put some water on this bed, and then we'll meet you in the greenhouse. What we're doing this week is very similar to what we did last week with the peas, only we're starting our tomatoes, and oh man. Little early, usually I start April 1st, but I'm getting antsy, and I'll get one flat of tomatoes going now and then one a little later. That's just the way I love to do it. And the reason that we grow from seed is that it's cheaper. You can grow a wide variety of things that you could never find in the nursery, and there's something about seeing that little seed start and go all the way to fruition in one season. Now, most of the tomatoes here are from seed companies, but I've got a story that's running today about Travis Schaup, and he gave me these tomato seeds. They're from his friend Tommy Patton, called All Meat Beefsteak. Tommy got them from an elderly neighbor who got them from another elderly neighbor. Great story. Huge tomato. It's what they call a sandwich tomato. One slice, some white bread, some mayonnaise, a little sea salt, and go to heaven. So let's start with the all meat beefsteak. And you know, there's not much to this. Most people can get a good seed starting mix wet, then put the seeds in. We'll cover it with plastic to keep it wet, keep it warm. I've got a heat mat here that I use to get tomatoes and peppers to sprout. And then I get calls on the radio shows saying, oh, they're all tall and spindly. Well, the number one thing you need when you don't have a greenhouse like this is a great light source. That is the trick. And take a look at what Travis uses. You know, shop lights, he's got aquarium lights in his. I use fluorescents. He's got an LED light, but strong light hanging on chains like that right next to the plants will make them nice and stocky. So let's start with the Tommy Patton all meat beefsteak seeds, and we're just going to kind of just drop them in there. And you really only want one in each container here, but every once in a while you get two in there, and I'll thin them out. Funny thing is, I'm only going to plant about 30 tomatoes in the garden, but I will have hundreds to give away, and that's another fun thing about gardening is giving away those transplants. All right, that's the first set of tomatoes, and I have lots of other cool tomatoes here that I'm going to plant next. And I'm just going to push these in. And they don't even need any extra water because I got this moist just how I like it. And if they stay around 65 degrees or maybe get a little warmer with that heat mat, they'll germinate in about a week. Number one thing, so you know what it is. All these tomatoes, when they sprout, look exactly the same. So we'll write on here, all meat. This is one I'm really interested in called Black Beauty. It's like the blackest tomato there is, really, really dark purple. And it's from Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds, and in their catalog, it says that one of the guys that works there says it's the best tasting tomato he's ever had. That will sell seeds. I had to have it, even though I was paying $5 for a packet, but it's rare. So these will be really fun to give away. I've got a few special people in mind for this one. Imagine walking barefoot in the garden and eating these tomatoes in the warm summer sun. I can't wait. Did I say I can't wait too much? All right, let's go outside and finish up. I'm going to finish up here. Black Beauty. And now, before we finish up, this will keep the soil nice and moist until they sprout. With the weather that's coming up and being in a greenhouse, and on that heat mat, who knows, we could get sprouts in just 4 or 5 days. Did I mention I can't wait? All right, let's go outside. I'm so glad that last year at this time, I wrote myself a note. 200 snow crocuses right here, and they are blooming, and it is wonderful. There is nothing that says spring like crocuses. Now, check me out online. That's where you can find out about my new Seed of the Month Club. I'm so excited to be able to send you my favorite seeds that I know will thrive in your garden, but there's so much more to the club than just seeds. Now, until next week, I'm going to go back in the greenhouse. I'm going to fill up those flats with all sorts of tomatoes, peppers, cabbage, kohlrabi, you name it. I'll see you next week.